Indonesia's president has talked up the strength of the relationship with Australia as he delivered an historic address in Parliament House. The PM gave Joko Widodo a warm reception as he flags relaxing visa restrictions with our nearest neighbour.
A bold declaration.
Australia is Indonesia's closest friend.
As Joko Widodo becomes the first Indonesian president in 10 years to address the Parliament.
Good day, mate.
It was a warm welcome for one of Australia's nearest neighbours.
Wonderful to have you here and lovely to have you bringing this rain.
Over the past decade, the relationship often rocky, marked by tensions over people smuggling, live cattle exports and the Bali 9 executions. But President Widodo now making it clear he's keen to usher in a new era.
My visit to Australia this time marks a new beginning.
Trade the top priority as the pair sign off on a long-awaited free trade deal. The relationship worth $17.8 billion a year as both sides talk up the potential.
Indonesia will be one of the star economies of the world over the next 10 to 20 years.
Economic relations between the two countries will grow and bring more tangible benefits for the people.
Australia agreed to look at visa arrangements after the president telegraphed he wanted travel rules for Indonesians coming here relaxed.
Indonesia is a very large country with a very large population, and we need to ensure that we have this flexibility that respects and understands that.
The pair also agreeing to a new energy dialogue, as it's revealed Monash University will establish the first foreign campus in Indonesia.
And that is a very good example of how this is a two-way street.
Former Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull was in the chamber for the President's historic speech.
Joko Widodo is a great friend of Australia.
And shook hands with his successor Scott Morrison during a rare run-in at a lunch to mark the occasion. Australian leaders have long talked up the potential of the Indonesia relationship, looking to diversify from the dependence on China. And with a 100-day action plan in place to fast-track the trade deal, it's hoped the benefits can be realised quickly. President Widodo leaving Australia with these parting words in pursuit of a positive future.
And we must encourage love for Indonesia amongst Australian youth and vice versa. Our youth today is the leaders of tomorrow.
Trudy McIntosh, Sky News, Canberra.
Let's get some analysis now with Professor John Blaxland from the College of Asia and the Pacific at ANU. Professor Blaxland, it was an impressive speech. It was short, but it dealt with the main issues facing the two nations and over quite a long time frame out to 2050. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I thought it was a very encouraging speech. It comes at a really significant juncture in our relationship. In the past, we've dealt with issues like beef, boats, spies, clemency, Timor, Papua, Jerusalem, you name it. We've had spikes in a game of what I would call a game of snakes and ladders, incrementally improving things and then down the ladder we come. But we're at a junction now where Indonesia kind of wants us more than ever before. They've got a challenge over its claim to the Natuna Island and the exclusive economic zone. They're worried about coronavirus. They're worried about China's assertiveness in their space. They're also eager for the Indonesia-Australia Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement to work. They want better trade and they want better visa access. So it's a good juncture for things to work better.
Well, it does seem that things have been smoother. We have had the relationship derailed at different times by issues from drug trafficking to other transactional issues as they're described. But at the moment, the substance, it seems to be there.
It does. And that's really, it's from a low point though. And one of the reasons why this Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement is so important is that we don't have much ballast in the relationship. Indonesia has historically looked north and we've kind of tended to look over Indonesia to mainland Asia, China, Japan, India, the great powers in Europe and North America, and haven't paid a lot of attention to Indonesia. Very few of us actually speak Bahasa, for instance. So we're seeing Indonesia looking a little bit more south because of the confluence of interests and a recognition that in fact Australia is a good friend. We've demonstrated that. Joko Widodo mentioned this in his speech about our support for Indonesia over the tsunami in Aceh in 2004 and 5, the response Australia has made to crises in the past, and of course the juncture, really significant moment where Indonesian military engineers came to help us in Australia as an act of reciprocity, of recognition recognition that we, Australia and Indonesia, really do need to do more together.
And Professor Blaxland, as you said, traditionally the Indonesians have looked north in terms of not just economic but strategic outlook. At the moment, given the assertiveness of China to their north, is that part of the reason why Joko wants to rethink things when it comes to relations with Australia and to strengthen ties with Australia?
Absolutely. There's no question in my mind that while it's never going to be publicly stated, it's a big factor in the equation. China is rocking the boat, so to speak, in the exclusive economic zone of Natuna Island in the South China Sea. Indonesia is very uncomfortable with what China's been doing there, and it does see Australia being a fellow traveller in seeking to address that. Of course, there remain a number of potential rub points over treatment, and Joko Widodo addressed this about the issue of human rights in Papua, implicitly in Papua, the issue of forest fires. In the past, we used to be look down our nose in a fairly sanctimonious way at the Indonesians over forest fires in Sumatra. We exactly haven't got a stainless record for our own fires in Australia. So there's a recognition that we actually need to collaborate more. There's more we can do together, and there really is a convergence of interests and a convergence of values.
Professor John Blaxland, great to get your insights from the ANU as always. Thanks so much.
Thank you.